one of my priorities for 2026 is to get my physical fitness back. Now that I have full control over my body again, I can breathe again, I feel alive, I can move about the world comfortably again. I don't want to take that for granted, and I want to take care of my body. I want to eat right. I want to look as good as I possibly can, as shallow as that might seem, but I want to age well. I'm 37 going on 38, and I want to be happy and comfortable in my skin. And, there's a lot of benefits that come with looking good. Looking good usually comes with feeling good. I want to do things in a way in regards to looking and feeling good and taking care of my health. I want to think more long-term about it and not short-term. I don't want to do any short-term like keto diet or water fast or work out every day for 30 days. I've done stuff like that in the past. I want to think the long game. I want to be smart about this. So right now I'm lifting weights 4 times a week, and that's it. I give myself 3 days of rest because as I'm reading and learning a lot about this, your muscles grow while they're resting, not while you're working out. While you're working out, your muscle fibers tear and split. So you need rest days in order for muscles to grow. And that's a mistake I made in my 20s. I suffered many injuries in my 20s because I was an idiot and I worked out every single day. That's why I'm learning as an adult that health and fitness is a long game, and it's meant to be done in a modest, realistic way. And it's interesting how the ego can show up in everything you do. So if you show up with this mindset of like, I'm going to be the best and I'm going to do this and I'm going to conquer this, and you overdo it and you don't have any sense of modesty in what you're doing or a long-term strategy in what you're doing, you'll burn out really quickly, like I did in my 20s. And, so now that I'm tackling fitness as a more mature woman, approaching my 40s pretty soon, I want to think about how can I do fitness in a way that sustains me into my 60s, 70s, and if I'm lucky, my 80s and 90s. And for me, that's going to be taking adequate rest days, eating enough calories. So to explain what I'm doing diet-wise to take care of things, I am eating as much protein as I can, which is surprisingly difficult to do. Apparently, if you want to grow muscle, you're supposed to try to eat 1 gram of protein for every pound of your body. So for me, I'm about 130 pounds. So I want to aim to eat 130 grams of protein per day. Surprisingly difficult to do. Even if you eat meat at every single meal, I often still fall short. So what I've been doing to add on to eating the meat at every single meal is I bought protein powder, which I'm putting in shakes every day. And I eat a lot of quinoa, which is a carbohydrate that has protein in it. I eat cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. With those additions, and then trying to eat meat at every single meal or eggs with breakfast, I'm finding that it's become so much easier to eat as much protein as I need for the day. In terms of calories, I am counting calories not to lose weight because I'm actually happy with the weight I'm at now. I'm just eating to make sure that I don't accidentally overdo it and put on fat. So right now I'm eating at maintenance, which for me is about 2,300 calories. This is going to be different for every single person. So for anybody listening, looking for inspiration here, this is wildly different for every single person. For some reason, I've always been able to eat a little more calories than some of my peers, my weight. A lot of maintenance calories for females, my size and weight is usually around 1,800 or 1,900. For some reason, my metabolism allows me to eat a little bit more. So everybody's different. So the only way to figure that out would be to test it on your own, to try counting calories for a day and seeing how you feel the next day. I think it's usually pretty straightforward. If at the end of the day you go to bed feeling starving, then you're probably losing weight. If you go to bed feeling nourished but not full, you're probably maintaining. And if you go to bed feeling fat, you're probably getting fat. So I think it's pretty easy to figure out. You just kind of have to test with the numbers yourself and figure out what works for you. But like I said, for me, I'm pretty good clocked in at about 2,300 calories is my maintenance. So besides the protein, I'm not obsessing over how many carbs or fats I'm getting. I'm making sure I get both, with protein being the most important one. And then as long as I hit my 2,300 calories, I don't really care about the perfect ratios of carbohydrates and fats. I just make sure I get everything, so everything is well-rounded. I'm also taking a lot of supplements right now to give myself some additional support. I'm taking vitamin D, especially because it's the winter. I'm taking vitamin C. I'm taking bone matrix, which is for collagen and a host of other things, because I don't eat a lot of bone, which is something I actually really want to get into this year, is making my own bone broth, so I could get a lot of those nutrients naturally without having to take this bone matrix pill. But that's something I'm taking right now. I'm taking NAC, glutathione, and creatine. Creatine is really good if you're trying to build muscle, but it's also good for many other things as well. It's not just for maintaining and building muscle. It's also really good for improving your mood. Apparently it's really good for depression and anxiety, which I could say could very well possibly be true, because this is the first time in a long time that I'm off my antidepressants and I feel pretty darn good. But it could be any of the supplements I'm taking. It could be a mixture of things I'm taking. It could be the fact that I'm working out regularly again. There could be a lot of reasons, but that's another thing to feel good about this year, is that despite everything I've been through, I've been on Zoloft, sertraline, for about 7 years now, and I've never been able to go off of it successfully. And this is the first few months that I've been off of it in years, and I'm feeling pretty great right now. So that's something very positive to think about. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to fill in about the fitness end of things, because I'm also sharing this information if anybody else, wants to go on a fitness journey themselves. I guess all I'll say is that, going back to the exercise routine, I'm focusing on weight training and not cardio. I still do a little bit of cardio, but very little bit. The majority of my focus is weight training, and I aim to progressively add more weights as much as possible. Of course, you have to listen to your body. You have to start where you can. But the idea with weightlifting is you want to try to each week to increase your weights as your body sees fit. So for example, this is something you do want to do modestly as well, because when I was in my 20s, I was able to squat 200 pounds. Now I was only able to squat 35 pounds. That's a huge difference. But the reason I'm starting here is because my form is all messed up now. For years of not working out, I've lost my technique. So right now I'm squatting 35 pounds, but I'm focusing on really precise technique. And the goal is that by next week or the week after, I should be able to squat 40 to 45 pounds. When I say progressively getting heavier, they call it progressive overload. The idea isn't to start with 35 and then next week squat 200. The idea is to get a little bit more each week. And if you follow that, you will grow muscle. Your muscles will get stronger to adapt to what your muscles will grow stronger in order to adapt to the weight requirements that you're putting on yourself. But you have to do it smart, and you have to do it modestly, and leave your ego out of it and listen to your body. Listen to your body in the sense that know the difference between good sore and bad sore. That's also something that takes experimentation, but for me, if I feel pain on just one side, that usually means something was off with my technique. But if I feel this overall sense of soreness, that means I just had a good workout. So you want to listen to your body, but you don't want to underperform either. You don't want to say, oh, I'm listening to my body and I'm tired, so I can't do this. No, you want to push yourself, but you want to push yourself to a point where you feel that good sore, not the bad sore. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. I touched on my fitness regimen. I touched on my nutrition and my attitude towards it overall. Yeah, so that's really exciting for me. So one of my goals this year is to get very fit again. Another thing I will say, and I'm going to leave this brief, maybe I'll get into more detail in another episode. Hey guys, it's me, your host, Andrea Pranzatelli. If you enjoyed this clip today, please don't forget to hit subscribe. It is my dream to become a full-time podcaster, and your support helps more than you could possibly know. So again, hit that subscribe button to help me keep the momentum going on this channel. Also, for every single clip, there is a link in the description to the full episode if you would like to hear the full episode. And I also have a link to my Instagram below if you'd like to follow me on Instagram as well. So that's it. Have a good day, guys. Bye.